Okay, so let's come back to the liquidity issue there, because obviously, retail tends to drive share price up. Okay, institutionals tend to hold longer. Okay, and you see instances where there's large, shareholding by the board and management and by institutions. Shares don't move. Because they're holding it tightly. How do you drive the liquidity?
That's a good question. I mean, ultimately, you have to follow our example. We care about shareholder value. So if you are a Great Bear shareholder, we do our best to look after you. So we don't do some of the conventional financing mechanisms like these flow-through fund placements that you see in Canada as well. They're highly dilutive, and it generates liquidity, but it doesn't generate price appreciation, right? So we're very careful. And I hate to have sort of a certain level of paranoia almost about wanting to make sure that we bring in good quality shareholders, but that is our mandate. Our mandate is to make our shareholders money. It's not to solve a science project or make a discovery for discovery's sake. This is a money-making business for our shareholders, right? So we have to be careful. We're not dilutive by nature. You can see that reflected in the share structure. Access to capital for a project like us, if we continue to generate good gold numbers, and if it looks like it has good economic prospects, I could see that capital raising should be achievable at every stage of the process.
Okay, so interesting. So you're focused on delivering shareholder value. Let's talk about how you're doing that and not just saying it. We hear that a lot from companies. They don't actually understand how they're going to do it. So what's happening going forward that's going to deliver on that?
And effectively for us, the project provides some of the answer to that question. It's cheap to operate, almost cheaper than any other jurisdiction in Canada. Well, we're right outside of a community, and we're right beside a road, right? So there's no helicopters. I give a presentation early on, and I got a good laugh on it, and it's still one of my favorite presentations that I've given, where I showed the front piece on the presentation was a slide, and it showed a bunch of jihadists with their AK-47s. It showed a lake. It showed a mountain with glaciers, and it showed a helicopter. And I said, Great Bear has none of these things, right? So what that means is that when we raise money, the money ends up being meters drilled in the ground because it's cheap to do so. In Canadian dollar terms, it's about $60 a meter to drill where we are, which is a fraction of the cost in other places, and an all-in cost, which includes our staff time, the assays, everything on the program, is about $170 a meter. So we can do a 30,000 meter drill program extension for about $5.5 million, right? And that means lots and lots of drilling. So one of the key value drivers for the company is that we'll produce more gold numbers this year than virtually any other exploration company anywhere. Right, so that's one of the principal.
What else have you got?
Well, other than gold in the ground, well, we have probably what I would look at in this area would be M&A opportunities for the Red Lake District, right? So Newmont right now is in a merger process with Goldcorp, right? Goldcorp is the principal producer in our area, and there's a number of gold resources. There's a number, there's excess milling capacity in the area, and there's projects that are known to have more high-grade gold in them, right? So you're looking at a situation where somebody may come in the relatively near future and consolidate the ounces and the projects and the milling capacity in the Red Lake District. It would be the basis of, I think, a pretty attractive company if somebody were to do that. And I think the discovery that Great Bear has made could be, quite critical in that context.
Yeah, okay, that's interesting. Actually, it's something I just remembered that you bought out your NSR about 18 months ago.
That's right.
So before things started really flying.
Exactly.
So you were thinking ahead. That usually has connotations around some form of dividend payment if you get taken out at some point. What was the actual thinking?
I like your thinking.
Okay.
I mean, it's an opportunity for us. For instance, if everything went well, all the stars aligned with Great Bear, and somebody bought us out in the future, we'd generated a very large amount of gold in the ground, and we got bought out for a very nice amount of money, and all of our shareholders were very happy. One of the things that the company could do in the event that that happens is spin out a company afterwards that has NSRs within it, right? Which could be very valuable. And there would be an ability in that sense maybe to have NSRs on a number of projects as well, potentially some interest in other land packages. Exactly, or potentially anyway, right? You never know. NSRs can take years to come to fruition, but they are good assets, good financial assets to have. Yeah. So we wanted to have clean 100% ownership of our Dixie property for exactly that reason.
Then that leads on to the question. Clearly, everyone thinks of exit at some point. You've just got into this. You're excited about drilling out this field. That's not on the horizon. There've been no approaches or discussions, but you must be in everyone's line of sight.
Well, I would be. I have to say, one of the most interesting meetings that I had in recent years was when we announced our first discovery hole a year and a half ago, 2 years ago in Great Bear. It was 10 meters of 16 grams per ton gold, including a meter of 130 grams, about 100 meters depth when we were drilling the Dixie Limb zone. That's not even the hinge zone. That's not the new high-grade zone. That's the original high-grade zone. And we had 4 producing mining companies show up at the meeting that we gave in Vancouver at the same time. We went from an $800,000 market cap to a $4 million market cap. And some of those companies were quite aggressive about giving us offers that would have given them complete long-term operational control of the asset at that time. Obviously, we said no. Right. So we're still in the process. I think if everybody thought about the project the way we do, they'd still realize. I mean, it's only 8 months since we did the discovery drilling in the hinge zone. I mean, we have a ways to go, and we'd like to add some meat to the project.